Recently, one of the most requested video by you guys is please tell us the difference between CMA India and CMA US. And in this video, that's exactly what we are going to cover, especially if it's going to help you guys make a decision which is going to impact your career. First, what is the difference, right? CMA India is by a body called ICAI, which is the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. If you ask your parents, right, 10-20 years ago, along with Indian CA, the most popular thing was CS, which is Company Secretary, and something they call cost accountants. Cost accountants, cost and work accountants all mean the same thing as CMA India. It's all the same, and it's a very traditional Indian qualification which has a lot of respect in the market. That's what CMA India is about, and what it covers is basically costing. Management accounting, costing all mean relatively the same thing, at least for you at this part to decide. CMA US is, with respect to the syllabus, the same as Indian CMA, right? You cover again concepts on management accounting. By the way, management accounting also has a combination of finance and accounts. And as I'll cover later in the video, I'm going to take you all through the subjects. But CMA US has a similar syllabus to CMA India. The thing is, CMA US has picked up somehow extremely well in the last couple of years in India as well as globally. Plus, having the US qualification as a stamp on anything you do in your CV always has a lot of benefit. So at the top of it, both have the same kind of syllabus, both have the same kind of approach, and you essentially become the same kind of professional once you clear the exams. The decision you have to make is why do you want to do one over the other, and let me get into the details. First point is the eligibility. Eligibility for both CMA India and CMA US is the same. You technically can appear for both post grade 12 and of course anytime after that. Now let me get into the academic structure. Now CMA India's academic structure is very similar to that of our Indian CA. So let me get into it, right? First of all, as you can see on the screen, Indian CMA is split into 3 levels: Foundation, Inter and Final. Foundation has 4 exams, Inter has 8 split into 2 groups, and Final has again 8 subjects split into 2 groups. CMA US on the other hand has 2 parts. Each part has 6 modules. So again, as you can see on the screen, right, part 1 has a lot to do with accounts, part 2 has a lot to do with finance, but eventually you cover the same kind of syllabuses that you cover in any management accounting course. Next comes the exam duration. CMA India on an average takes 3 years because there is also an inherent 15-month articleship-like aspect before you are allowed to appear for the final level. CMA US you can complete anywhere between 6 to 9 months on an average. And that's actually a huge advantage. We have so many people who are doing CMA US in India because the value is increasing, but you complete it in a relatively short span of time. Next comes the exam window. CMA India, you can give exams like CA every 6 months, whereas CMA US, you can appear for the exams throughout half the year. So every 2 months, so you can appear for a CMA Part 1 or Part 2 exam in Jan-Feb. Then there is another slot opening up in May, June, and then another slot opening up in September, October. When it comes to the passing mark means in the paper, what is the percentage you need to score before you can clear the exam. So CMA India is very similar to our Indian CA, right? You need 40% per paper, but you need 50% aggregate, and it's a group system. CMA US, on an average out of 500 marks, you need 360, or that's around 72% to clear. So that's the passing mark when it comes to CMA US. Passing rate, as you all again know, CMA India is like CA, the passing rate out of 100 students who clear, it's around 10 of them who pass on average. CMA US, across the globe, out of 100 people who appear for the exam, around 40 to 50 pass. Of course, because we train here and we are hand-holding students, we have a higher passing percentage at ZEL, where out of 100 people who appear for CMA, we have around 75 to 80 people who will end up clearing. Lastly, the exam pattern. Our CMA India currently is all written. It's going to transition to computer based. Level 1, the foundation level, is completely MCQ based, whereas Inter and Final for CMA India is all subjective. Moving to US CMA, of course it's all computerized, part 1 and part 2, and both the parts have around 75% which are MCQs and 25% which is subjective. Next comes the scope, the job opportunities. CMA India, cost accountants, ICWA in the past, today turned into ICAI. Very traditional, very reputed qualification. I think the demand for cost accountants of India is never going to go down. That being said, we've seen a lot of students like you guys who will end up taking US CMA because cost accountant is, as far as possible, it's something that people who want to appear for CA land up not doing, or they don't have any aspiration of moving overseas or working in MNCs. So cost accounting, if that's your goal, please get into it. It's really a security kind of a program which is going to keep you, going to give you a cushion, going to give you freedom to do whatever else you want in that little field. And you can get hired in almost any company that is looking for cost accountants. The salary package is always ranging between 4 to 6 or maybe 7 lakhs depending on the candidate and the company that you'll end up getting hired in. Coming to CMA US, we've already created an entire detailed video on this, so please have a look. But in summary, CMA US in India has a lot of scope in multinationals like the Big Four, the KPMGs, Deloittes, PwCs and EYs of the world, Grant Thornton, BDO. A lot of other MNCs are hiring CMAs and the packages are quite strong. You get hired at around 5 to 7 lakhs depending on which company and you as a candidate. Coming to the fees aspect, CMA India and CMA US are actually quite similar when you take into account the entire fee structure. Both you can complete between 1 to 1.5 lakh. Now, this 1 to 1.5 lakh for CMA India includes the body fees as well as training fees that you would be paying for. And in CMA US, this 1 to 1.5 lakh includes again the body fees, training fees like what you would be paying for Zell, as well as CMA US has this differentiation between if you're a student or a professional when it comes to the body fees. If you need any clarity on that, please again reach out to us, we'll help you. But the overall idea that you should have is if you're a student, you can complete CMA US with training in approximately 1.2 lakhs, whereas as a professional, you can complete it with 1.5 lakhs if you are appearing for these exams with either partner providers or with companies like Zell.